This was me 10 weeks ago, the heaviest I've ever been in my life. Over 20% body fat, puffy face, I just felt like shit. And this is me now. 10% body fat, lean, shredded, and finally confident again. So quick backstory, 3 months ago, I was at the peak of my bulk, about 150 pounds. My lifts were going up, but I felt worse than ever. Puffy face, abs slowly disappearing, and my energy and mood were at an all-time low. I wasn't seeing the muscle I worked so hard for. I was just soft, and I couldn't even look myself in the mirror, so I decided it was enough. I went into a controlled, aggressive cut and lost 22 pounds in 10 weeks, barely losing any muscle in the process. And right now, I feel the best I've ever felt, both physically and mentally. So today, I'll show you exactly how I did it. Training, diet, cardio, and the mindset that kept me locked in. When most people start cutting, they think they need to change everything. New exercises, new routines, more sets. Wrong. You don't change what built the muscle in the first place. Keep the same split, the same exercise, just reduce volume and focus on intensity. 2 hard sets per exercise, 6 to 8 reps, taken close or to failure, where every rep actually counts. Because when you're in a deficit, your recovery becomes your biggest limitation. You have less energy, so you've got to use it wisely. You're not trying to destroy yourself in the gym. You're trying to maintain your strength and hold on to every gram of muscle you built. And this is what most people get wrong. They assume losing strength is just a part of the cut, but it's not. How much muscle you retain directly depends on how much strength you can maintain during your cut. So if you're low on carbs, still doing jump volume, 4 or 5 sets to failure, you're just burning through recovery for no reason. So cut the fluff, train heavy, train hard, and get out. You maintain your strength, you maintain your muscle. Also, don't forget to get at least 8 hours of sleep. That's where your muscles recover and fat loss actually happens. For my diet, I kept it simple. When you're cutting, all that really means is eating in a caloric deficit, consuming less calories than your maintenance. That's how your body is forced to burn stored fat for energy. I ate roughly at a 700 calorie deficit. That might sound steep, but it worked because it was structured, not random starvation. Of course, everyone's numbers are different, but as a rule of thumb, you should aim to lose about 1 to 1.5% of your body weight per week. That's the sweet spot. Fast and aggressive enough to see real progress, but slow enough to hold on to muscle. I'll leave a link to a free calorie calculator below. Just plug in your stats and you'll get your target deficit instantly. Now here's the truth nobody likes to hear. You can technically eat anything and still lose fat, as long as you stay in that deficit. It doesn't matter if it's chicken or rice or burgers and fries. But for health, energy, and performance, stick mostly to whole foods. That's what keeps you consistent long term. Now, sustaining a 700 calorie deficit every day is quite rough, and that's where cardio comes in. But people tend to overcomplicate it. But it's simple. 30 minutes on a treadmill every day right after lifting. Not intense, just steady. If you can hold a conversation, but it's slightly uncomfortable, that's the perfect pace. For my body weight, that burned around 200 to 300 calories, which means I really only had to eat at a 400 to 500 calorie deficit, which is much more sustainable. And of course, protein is a non-negotiable. You need at least 1 to 1.2 grams per pound of body weight. That's what kept me full, recovered, and held onto muscle all the way through. The bottom line is, keep it simple. Track your calories, stay consistent, and let time do the rest. But honestly, the hardest part wasn't the diet or the cardio. It was saying no. No to snacks, no to drinks, and no to parties. Because when you're cutting, you realize how much of your life runs on instant gratification and how you have to fight it. Cutting teaches you more about self-control than any self-help book ever could. And when you stick with it long enough, your brain starts to change. You stop chasing dopamine and start chasing discipline. That mindset is what gets tested the most in the first few weeks, because during the first month of my cut, I lost weight steadily, but barely saw any change in the mirror. I started doubting myself, wondering if I was losing muscle, or if I didn't even have muscle to begin with. But here's the truth. Progress on a cut is exponential. It starts slow, then suddenly everything changes. Around week 5, I started noticing huge visual differences, and from there, it just kept getting better and better every single week. So be patient, stay disciplined. If you can push through the doubt, you'll not only look better, but you'll become better. So that's how I cut down to 10% body fat in 10 weeks without losing muscle, energy, or my mind. I've tested everything, failed plenty, but this process actually works. It wasn't easy, but it was worth it every second. If you're starting your own cut, don't overcomplicate it. Just nail your calories, train hard, stay patient, and the results will come. If you don't want to miss any no bullshit guides on building an aesthetic physique, make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.